welcome everyone live with Dr. Carolyn Dean here on AchieveRadio.com. Happy New Year, one and all. And let's say welcoming into 2020 is going to be a spectacular year. Spectacular in every way, and so excited to be riding shotgun once again with the inimitable, the most excellent, the most wonderful Dr. Carolyn Dean, who is, ladies and gentlemen, let me just say to you right now, on top of her game and bringing it. No stopping this, our very own Dr. Dean, and no stopping the absolute landslide of momentum and popularity that we are gaining through our products, and absolutely no stopping her willingness to be clear and precise and accurate and excellent, determined in her willingness and her diligence to bring you very pertinent relative health information that you can live by. Live by, not wonder and weary and fear and hope and keep your fingers crossed and no, none of that. No, not here. Right here what we have is, and let me just say, clarity. Clarity of being, clarity of mind, clarity of purpose, and clarity of contribution. What she is contributing and what she is sharing for these next 2 hours is going to elevate your life, elevate your health, elevate your mind, and give you an opportunity to really grasp hold of what is possible for you. The genie in your genes. Somebody said to me the other day, why do you have a genie's lamp on your bottle? I don't get it. The Genie in Your Genes, a book by Dawson Church, the epigenetics of our cellular life, the environment that our cells are living in and breathing in, not just through our thought forms, but through the nutritional environment that we create, is absolutely positively those building blocks that are required for cellular health. Dr. Dean knows it. She's been preaching it, teaching it, sharing it, writing books about it, writing Kindles, writing blogs, and then she just decided to put her money where her mouth was and actually construct the formulas that would actually help people restore their health, vitality, and well-being. That, armed with her wisdom and her incredible group of customer service members and our shipping team and everybody else who works to support this effort, is all gathered together, represented in this 2 hours to give you the best of what we know and the best of what we have to offer you so that you can have and be at your best. Having said all that, let me just also say that Dr. Dean does not give medical advice on a radio show. That's a big no-no from the FDA, even though, hey, she's a medical doctor, and a very good one, by the way. And she's a naturopath, all credentials in order, and she's an herbalist and an acupuncturist, and plate spinner on her noser kind of person. But she does not give medical advice on the radio. She does encourage you to seek out your own medical professional advice to support the things that she's saying to you. And what she does do is she would tell you what she would do if she were in your shoes. And she's been there, because she has a human body. And she's had some things that have gone sideways, and then she's had to figure out how to correct them. And that's what we're suggesting this evening. So without further ado, I will bring in the most glorious and delightful Happy New Year welcome to our very own Dr. Carolyn Dean.
That's my cue. Thank you, Ginny. Thank you for this spectacular beginning of 2020. I'm using the spectacular word because of the spectacles, 2020 vision, and all that spectacular implies. Let's look up the definition of spectacular, because it's probably pretty awesome. So yeah, it is going to be a great year. We're committed to doing research this year. Spectacular, beautiful in a dramatic and eye-catching way. An event such as a pageant or musical produced on a large scale with striking effects. Well, that's definitely what we're doing. We have created this pageant with a cast of thousands. It is. It's totally a pageant, because we don't even know why people are getting so positively, dramatically affected by these products. They just seem to have a synergistic effect. When we do promote REMAG as our first entry points for people in our process, but pretty quickly we let people know that REMAG is just one mineral. It's going to help a lot of things, but you really have to balance out the other minerals, the other vitamins, and somehow we've been able to work with nutrients, get the chemists to make our nutrients the best absorbed supplements that you can find, and you'll hear those words. And I'm going to actually talk a little bit about orthomolecular medicine in a few minutes. But there's something quite spectacular about what we're doing, and we're glad all our listeners and customers are on board with us and are experiencing this. And if you're not experiencing the spectacular nature of what we're doing, it really is 99% of the time because you're not taking enough REMAG and you're not taking the other complement formulas. There's a lot going on in our world that our body has to be strong for, and not strong to fight it or anything, but just strong. And that's what we're trying to do, is create strong bodies that are adaptable, because the environment is always going to be changing. Climate change is just another cycle that we're going through. We can't get so hung up on feeling that it's the end of the world. How many times have you read stories and past news headlines about the end of the world is coming? Yeah, well, maybe, in a few million years, but it's not going to happen to us. So let's just be happy, healthy, and balanced, and we're offering you the actual physical ways to achieve that, not just give you platitudes and pat you on the head. No, this is actual physical information that you can buy and take and make yourself indestructible and spectacular. Our first email today I want to mention is from Christine. Christine writes, "Hello, Ginny and Dr. Dean. This is Christine, your humble Customer of the Year." Remember, at the end of last year, we gave out a very unexpected award to Christine. And she continues, "LOL, I'm sending you this little note to thank you both for giving me this wonderful award. Ashley, who's her daughter-in-law, was amazed that you followed through with such good service. She is becoming a believer in magnesium. I'm so thankful for that. I think I drive her and my son crazy with my magnesium information. LOL. Since their last visit here and your good customer service, they have started using some. I'm very thankful. You not only gave me an award, but gave them a nudge to start using the products. My grandkids need magnesium as well. They're both showing signs of low magnesium. Ladies, I will always be thankful to you for the fine products you sell and for running such a fine company. You both deserve an award for all the energy you put into the company. Bless you both and the rest of the support team as well. Many thanks, Christine." So let's give her a yay from the children, Ginny. Very good. The awards continue. Now for Ginny's Monday blog that she sent out to you all by email to announce the show. The topic for this week is Midlife Magnesium Crisis, ? And it looks like it's from one of my blogs, and it says, "I talk a lot about magnesium preventing the signs and symptoms of aging, but I would really love to reach women in their 40s and 50s who are trying desperately to get through midlife to even have the opportunity to age. I have the impression these beautiful souls are much too busy to read my free ebooks, so I'm dedicating tonight's live call-in radio show to them in hopes that friends and family who see them burning the candle at both ends will tell them to tune in and learn how they can get some relief. I'm calling this week's radio topic Midlife Magnesium Crisis, and while the theme can apply to men suffering from career burnout or exercise-induced AFib, my real audience is women, and it can be late 30s, 40s, and even 50s who find themselves working full-time, still taking care of teenage children, responsible for taking care of their husband or partner or their ex, responsible for ill and aging parents, and making all the health care decisions in the family. It's all on your shoulders, heavy on your heart, and draining your energy. And yes, it's making you feel guilty that some days you just want everyone to go away. Okay, that may seem a bit harsh, but I've interviewed enough women over the past 40 years to know that what I'm saying is mostly true. How does this play out in your health? You're losing sleep. You're going 16 hours a day. You're being responsible for far too many people. You have no time for self-care, and you're eating poorly on the run. All of this is bound to deplete your adrenals, your thyroid, your digestion, and your energy. In the early days of your life, if you had children, the stress of pregnancy depletes your thyroid, and the stress of being up all night with young children can deplete your adrenals. If you don't have children, a heavy-hitting career job could create the same effects. With your adrenal and thyroid hormones taxed to the max, early menopause is a common result. To top it all off, you keep hearing about 50-year-old men falling dead of a heart attack and pray that doesn't happen to your partner. What can you do besides take out another life insurance policy? Well, it turns out there's a lot you can do, and it's not that difficult. It basically involves putting you at the center of your life again and making some really easy moves to dramatically improve your energy and your physiology and your well-being. Launch out into 2020 armed with new information, new vision, and new products for what's possible for you this year. So it is all about, as I mentioned earlier, taking the complement formulas, Remag, Remite, Realign, RNA Reset, and Restructure. And, of course, now we have the Pico Silver for the immune system. We have our own food-based vitamin C that also has RNA powder in it, and we'll be soon launching our Flora Revive. And for more words, you can read my blog, Midlife Magnesium for Women. I'll send it to Ginny right now so that she can put it on the chat, because mainly this was an edited version of the blog. So, once again, Ginny and I, we shared a brain because this weekend I was working on a new book called Total Body Reset for Women. And I begin the book with these words. It's no secret to women that we are defined by our sex hormones. Puberty, pregnancy, delivery, motherhood, perimenopause, and menopause. And it's by these milestones that I'll document the shifts that we experience with the changes in our diet, lifestyle, and environment that are getting more radical with each passing year. The 40s age group that Ginny identifies in this blog is the perimenopausal age. But perimenopause is not even a life stage that I learned about in medical school. A friend of mine, the famous herbalist Susan Weed, told me personally that she was speaking at a menopause conference when a gynecologist in his lecture coined the term. And personally, I think that perimenopause has a lot to do with the depletion of the thyroid and adrenals and the sex hormones due to mineral deficiencies and yeast overgrowth. By knowing that information, we immediately know the solutions, which are Remag, Remite, Realign, Restructure, and RNA Reset drops. So that's really important for our midlife women to realize that it can boil down to mineral deficiencies and yeast overgrowth, and that's what we do focus on with our customer service people as we discuss our products with our customers. So here's a blog mailbag email. This person says, I've been taking Remag and most of your products for a couple of years. I'm 51 today. Happy birthday. And I have 4 teenagers and a lovely husband. My terrible heart palpitations have dissipated, as well as life-halting anxiety and Charlie horse leg cramps. My embarrassing nervous sweating is gone. And most recently, with Whole C Reset, my sister and I have noticed hot flashes disappearing. So thank you for your life-changing products and lovely supportive attitude from you and your staff. Your write-up for the show today hit home with me, as just last week another 50-year-old man has suddenly died in our community. My comment is if your company would consider making small bottles of Remag for purchase to be able to hand out to friends. People hear me talk about magnesium all the time, and I feel like they think I'm crazy. I would love to be able to give them an official bottle to try. This is from Stephanie. Okay, well, Stephanie, actually I usually begin the show talking about our practitioner program. I mean, what we've done so far is we do have physician size, not for 4-ounce bottles for our practitioners. So what you could start doing is give us the name of a practitioner that you think would be interested in these products. It can be a health food store owner, I think. Do we sell in health food stores, Ginny?
Yeah, depends. Some, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we could. The word is invent. What's the word? We could discuss with health food store owners. Yeah, exactly. The invasion of the body helpers.
That's right.
So it's clinics, gyms, nutritionists, anybody who's recommending products, and especially if they're selling products to their clients, give us their name and your name, of course, and then we'll have Jackie follow up and call this practitioner and say, so-and-so referred me. We'd like to send you a package with our information and a couple of free sample bottles of our Remag to see if you'd be interested in carrying this product. Boom. So that's a start. I don't know if Ginny and I don't know if we'll be selling sample bottles, because if you sell a sample bottle, it implies that the one little bottle is going to save your life. I don't know. But we'll see about that in the future. I think the only sample bottles I'd sell would be a 3.2 ounce that you can take on an airplane. But anyway, so refer your practitioner, Stephanie. That's the first step. And then the other information I usually say at the beginning of a show is use referral candy for your friends. If you're referring them, you get a 15% discount, they get a 15% discount, and that's usually a good enough amount to pay for shipping. And also, we do have a research project. We'll be promoting that, advertising that a little more at rnareset.com. It's on the top bar. It's under Research Project. It's our grassroots health research project. We're working with Grassroots Health. And it's an at-home blood spot test. You just do a little finger stick and put drops of blood on a piece of cardboard to look at your magnesium, your vitamin D, your omega-3 fatty acids, and your TSH. And those four will give us an idea if our recommendations are working. How is your vitamin D if you're taking the Blue Ice Royal? How is your magnesium levels according to how much you're taking? I'm only taking 1.5 teaspoons, 1 to 1.5 teaspoons a day of Remag now, and I was happy to see that my magnesium levels were right at the top. So that's what we've got going with our research. And then let me look at the rest of the blog questions. I'm a 64-year-old female. I have an issue with hair loss, trying to figure out what would be the cause. I found out that amitriptyline that I was taking for leg spasms caused by back issues can cause hair loss. I stopped taking it. I've been taking Remite for several months. Leg cramps are much improved. Do you have suggestions to help improve hair growth? Well, the Remite, in terms of it being support to the thyroid, usually helps get hair back in balance within 1 to 3 months. But if it was caused by toxicity, I would definitely add Realign, Pam. So think about Realign. Make sure you're taking 1.5 teaspoons of Remite and maybe 2 teaspoons of Remag. Here's a testimonial. I want to thank you for a really good product. The Remag is literally saving my life. And then this customer, Aliyah, goes on to talk about her breast cancer. She's juicing. She's had problems most of her life with electrolyte balance. In the past 3 years, she's been in hospital about 15 times because her sodium was getting very low. And sometimes she'll go into seizures because it's so low. And then she read about Remag and listened to a lot of our videos, bought the Remag, took half the dose that was suggested on the bottle, which I guess is 1/8 of a teaspoon. It was way too much for me. I was detoxing too fast. So she says, I put 1 drop of Remag in a quart of water. That did the trick for me. My backaches went away, and I feel so much better. Now I've been taking Remag for about 2 months. I'm up to 2 drops in a quart of water, and I drink about 3 quarts a day. I feel so much stronger, and I have no problems with electrolyte imbalance since taking it. I've even started lifting weights in addition to walking a mile on my treadmill. I upped my walking to 2 miles a day. I wanted to tell you how grateful I am. I did add a little bit of calcium citrate to balance the magnesium in addition to a pinch of Celtic sea salt with each quart of water. My future looks so much brighter now. So that's awesome, and that is another kind of testimonial from someone who starts with just drops. And I don't know that it's a homeopathic. They'd certainly say it's like a homeopathic amount, but it's almost like it's just a little key to open the doorway to your body accepting Remag. Is someone talking? I'm hearing words. Sorry, must be the ghost in the tech body. Okay, the next topic I have here is about the right molecule, and it's a little bit of discussion on the orthomolecular medical, not the association, but orthomolecular medicine in general. It was started by Linus Pauling and Abram Hoffer. I'm on the board of the Orthomolecular Medical News Service, and a doctor on our email list list sent an email praising Dr. Abram Hoffer and a review of his book, Adventures in Psychiatry, The Scientific Memoirs of Dr. Abram Hoffer, 2005. He died in 2009 at the age of 91. He was awesome, a Canadian. I knew him. Actually, I did my internship with his nephew. So the review that was sent just a couple days ago was written actually by another friend of mine, Helga Ferry, a medical anthropologist, journalist, writer, and publisher. Now, what she said about Hoffer's work, and his work is on using high-dose niacin, vitamin C, and to a certain extent magnesium for schizophrenia. And then the True Hope people have sort of continued that work, truehope.com, and I do recommend them for people using high-dose supplements for manic depression and depression. And I do that because I really don't want our customer service to be doctoring people who have serious symptoms of depression. We do tell people that if they have mild depression, that the complete formulas can be very, very helpful. But we really step away from diagnosing certainly severe depression or schizophrenia, and we send people to truehope.com. So what Hoffer said about his work, and Helga quotes him, is that he asked the right questions, made the correct observations, and made the relevant assumptions. His early insights into the central importance of soil and plant food quality to human and animal health gave him the insight that he had. He had some incredible results giving people very high dose niacin or nicotinic acid and high dose ascorbic acid. And his work with vitamins served to undermine the reigning medical paradigms for psychiatry and cardiovascular disease. He fathered a new paradigm, and it didn't make him popular, etc. The first vitamin B tablets were made at his suggestion back in the early 1950s. So when there was just something that hit me when I was reading these words, because orthomolecular medicine means the right molecule. What I observed with Dr. Hoffer's work and with orthomolecular medicine was that we started using vitamin therapy, and if I didn't go this way, but if the vitamin therapy didn't work, the oral vitamins, doctors started giving intramuscular injections of the vitamins and minerals or intravenous. I instead started looking at homeopathy, herbology, and acupuncture as ways to help balance the body. And then over time, when I realized that the whole vitamin mineral industry was going more and more synthetic with Codex Alimentaris, I realized that the powers that be wanted to make vitamins and minerals a medical modality, synthetic, low potency, and they actually said they didn't want vitamins and minerals to interfere with drug therapy. So what I did there was decided I really had to find supplements that were low enough potency that they weren't above the RDA and therefore subject to the FDA squashing them, and make them highly absorbable. And that's where my luck gene helped me so much to find a chemist who would really get to the bottom of mineral absorption and create the stabilized ions of the minerals that are in remag, remite, picosilver, and recalcia. These stabilized minerals are ions of the elements, elemental minerals, that are so highly absorbed that you don't necessarily need high potency, and they do the work. So, in fact, it's not the right molecule entirely. It's the right molecules, but the absorption of those molecules. If you don't have the absorption of the nutrients you're taking, then all the factors that require those or all the processes that require the cofactors of vitamins and minerals, they just run right down. They just don't work. So we're at a paradigm level again, a change in paradigms, where as we continue to do our research, which we started in 2019, university research on absorption, and we'll continue that. We'll keep on going because nobody else is doing it. We will prove that the way the remag, remite, etc. work is at a cellular level, and they create the balance that the body desires to make more perfect cells. Anyway, so that's what we're doing, and at the same time, we'll be looking at different nutrients. We'll start with magnesium, of course, and every week we get questions about magnesium L-threonate, for example. And what's going on with threonate? It's been turned into liposomal L-threonate, supposedly for better absorption. But what you have to know about this product, it's patented, so it's become very expensive. It's $60 for 30 capsules. The front of the label says each capsule has 1,000 milligrams of magnesium L-threonate, but that's the compound. The label ingredients say it's only 77 milligrams of elemental magnesium per capsule, which means that one bottle of 30 capsules only has 2,310 milligrams of magnesium, which is less than 8 teaspoons of our 48-teaspoon bottle of remag. So it's absolutely not going to do what remag does, that's for sure. Now, maybe in the beginning, just like our folks who will take a couple of drops of remag and feel that it's helping, but they have to keep on increasing, because we've heard over and over again, people will say, well, you know, I took half a teaspoon twice a day of remag, and I was great for a couple of months, and now my symptoms are back. Well, you need more magnesium. You're not saturating all your cells. So anyway, 8 teaspoons of a 48-teaspoon bottle of remag is what you get with a liposomal L-threonate. Some health websites have bought into the magnesium L-threonate and sell it exclusively. One site has 2,000 milligrams magnesium threonate with 145 milligrams of elemental magnesium, but they say you have to take 3 a day. So really read your labels. If you only took 3 a day to get 145 milligrams, that's only going to last 10 days. I'd have to take the whole bottle, but then it would give me the laxative effect. But you know, if there are people listening that have tried the magnesium threonate, it'd be interesting to see how they fare, and if it is long lasting. I mean, after a year, if you can afford it for that long, is it still working? And let me see. I think I'll stop there because the rest are questions that have come in through the week. So Ginny, let me go to you and see what you've got on chat or on the phones.
Okay, excellent, excellent. Yes, this is a talk radio show, and we do take phone calls at 602-666-6027. So you're welcome to call in and talk with Dr. Dean about anything that concerns you. We've got also our chat line where people like Tampa can write in a question that they just wrote in, and we'll answer those as well. And then, of course, for this show and other shows, we have our mailbag, which is the questions that Dr. Dean will read interspersed throughout the program tonight. So, again, 602-666-6027. And if you've called in and you're on the phone, because I see a lot of new callers tonight, please remember to hit star 5. Star 5 on your keypad will raise your hand in the studio and let me know you have a question or comment. Otherwise, I don't know that you want to talk to Dr. Dean and your phone will remain on mute and we won't be able to hear you. So let's do this. We do have a couple phone calls, Carolyn, but let's also just answer the question that just came in. Goodness, it's been a minute since I've been on the radio and I can't talk right. Okay. Tampa says, hi, I have a Culligan water softener in my house, and I use a Brita filter for drinking water. I add sea salt before drinking as per your 1/4 teaspoon quart H2O. My blood pressure is now high. I read in Consumer Reports not to use Culligan water for plants because it uses salt to soften. So I'm wondering if my blood pressure is high, Culligan plus sea salt too much. I take 2 teaspoons of Remag and a teaspoon of Remite per day. I stopped adding the salt. Is that okay?
Spell me the Culligan so I can look up what they're using in it.
Yeah, Culligan.
Water filter. I've heard of it, but I've never really looked it up. Yeah, it's difficult these days because we've been told how dirty our water is, and when we clean it, then we either empty it of all our minerals, or yes, they use I see they use a water softener system, and sometimes it's a calcium salt. I don't know if I'll find out exactly what kind of salt. They're talking about regular salt deliveries. So it's quite, I don't know. I mean, it's possible that the blood pressure is related. I see these big bags of salt. Good grief. So let me look up Culligan salt ingredient, or the person who's asking the question, if they can tell me what is this salt, water softener, because with something like this that's used for your health, they should tell you what it is on the label. Water softener salt for all brands of softeners. Look, Ginny, they're selling this 40-pound bag for $7. Hey, that's a bargain. But they don't even tell me what kind of salt it is. I bet it's not a magnesium. And no. So if people can do a little research while we continue with the show to find out what it is. But, yeah, I wouldn't be using any kind of extra salt that wasn't sea salt. So Brita, I've used Brita when I've traveled and visited with people. I think that it's helpful. The main things you want to take out of water are chloride and fluoride. But, it got so difficult with trying to advise people about what water to drink and all the rest of it, and being so scared of everything we eat and drink that I found that personally, with taking the Completement formulas, I wasn't afraid anymore of what I was eating or drinking or breathing. And I think that's part of the spectacular nature of our products is that they can help you detoxify, they can help your energy, help your body work to detoxify so that you can meet the environment, you can adapt to the environment and overcome the negative parts of it. For many years I was recommending water filters by Pure Earth, Jeff at pureearth.com. I use his shower filters. He sells wholesale to the public, so at least it's a good price. I know I just put in a system somewhere, and it was reverse osmosis, very expensive. And reverse osmosis is going to take everything out of the system. Anyway, I don't know about the salts in this Culligan. I would be careful of them. Use Brita, use your sea salt, and Remag and Remite. Yes, 2 teaspoons of Remag. You might need 3, and keep us posted.
Very good. She ended the question with, I stopped adding the sea salt. But you're saying add the sea salt. So I just want to be clear.
Right. Yeah, the sea salt is nature's food. It's where we get our 72 minerals. The Culligan water softener is just going to be a calcium water softener.
The Culligan water softener, Carolyn, is at the source, is at the pipe, and it's a big unit, and they pour the salt in, and it conditions the water as it comes through the house, and then it's going to come through her tap. And then she's going to use a Brita filter. So if all we're saying about that is if you're still going to use the Culligan water softener, which she doesn't have any choice because that's the way it is, then when the water comes out and it goes through the Brita filter, I do not know if the Brita filter is strong enough to take that extra salt out. I can ask.
Oh, my gosh, look at this. Look at this.
Nope.
It finally found it. The salt in the Culligan filter, the 40 pounds of salt that you have to put in, is pure sodium chloride. So she's just taking salt. How on earth can they do that? That's a health risk right there. You know, they're told by their doctors not to eat table salt. I know they're told not to eat any salt, but you see it's table salt, which is just pure sodium chloride, that can cause edema and elevation in blood pressure. Sea salt with 72 minerals is a different ball of wax. So personally, I would not be putting salt in my water. And it's strange. I wonder if the water tastes like salt. You know, presumably not. I don't think people would put up with that. But anyway, interesting.
Okay.
I wouldn't use it personally.
Okay. So now let's go back. Let me ask Greg, when we take a break, I'll ask my husband who does water treatment, if a Brita filter is strong enough to pull the sodium chloride out of the water. I don't think so. But we'll ask. And so and from that point, you'll have to make your decision about what you're going to do with your Culligan water softener. And until then, what you may want to do is just buy some bottled water at the store and start using that for your Remag and your Remite and your sea salt so that you're not adding it to this sodium chloride water. Do we agree about that?
Yes, I would agree.
Okay. For drinking water, I go to bottled water until you can straighten it out. Because the trace minerals, if you want to, and I'll post it here, it's one of Carolyn's most popular blogs. It's called Sea Salt Superfood. And, it's a very comprehensive article, and you can also look at the Salt Fix, Dr. Dean Niccolantino. And this is the advocacy for using sea salt and restoring a proper salt balance in the body for the electrolyte balance of the entirety of every single cell. So there's value in that. Sodium chloride may not be valuable. So we'll sort it out after the top of the hour, okay? How does that, the rest of it, how's that sound? Yeah.
Great.
Okay.
Excellent.
Yeah, very good. Well, you learn something new every day. Here we go, 2020, whipping fresh off the press with a brand new revelation about Culligan water softeners and salt. Okay. Emily is asking about your berry dessert program, Carolyn, and then we've got lots of people holding, so we're going to flip over to phone calls. But let's just ask Emily real quick. Emily's saying, Happy New Year. How much whipping cream do you put on your berries? How much is it after whipping, not before? And also, how many berries do you measure out? And do you eat your berry treat every day, or would every day be too naughty? I love the word naughty. Isn't that great?
Well, you don't, Emily, you don't whip the cream. You just pour the liquid heavy whipping cream over your berries. I use about 8 or 10 kind of small berries, 3 or 4 big berries of strawberries. So that's my strawberries. 8 or 10 small ones, 3 or 4 large ones. About 20 blueberries, and they're frozen. These are all just frozen. And about 20, 25 raspberries. If I can get some cherries, I might do 8 or 10 cherries. Chop up the cherries and the strawberries. Raspberries and blueberries don't need to chop up. Don't put them in the blender or anything. They'll just mush them. But then you do have to mush them. You pour in the heavy whipping cream. I don't measure anything. I just pour a bunch in and start mashing. And if it's not mashing, I pour in a little more. I mean, maybe it's like 2 or 3 ounces, maybe 2 ounces of heavy whipping cream, and I mash it until it looks like ice cream. And then I slurp it up, and yes, I do eat it most days. And I don't know. But I don't eat it in winter at Ginny's house. Let me tell you, it is not palatable, or in the sense that it's just too cold when you're in a cold environment. So luckily I live in Maui, so I can do my berry treat every day. So there.
Very good. Excellent, excellent. Okay. Well, here's the reason, Emily, you don't whip it. Let me see if I can paint the visual. Your berries are frozen. So I don't know, Carolyn, did you mention that? You're using frozen berries?
Yes.
Okay, so your berries are frozen, and when you pour the whipping cream over it, Emily, it freezes the cream itself. It makes it it thickens and it gets real cold, and then you mash it up. So it's super delish that way. Yeah, just try it. You'll try your own experiment. You'll see how it goes. Okay, now let's go to our phone calls and see what we've got cooking here. And thanks, everybody, for holding. So, again, 602-666-6027, but the first person on the docket, area code 910. Oh, Lumberton, North Carolina, area code 910. I've been there. You drive through there to get to Wilmington, Carolyn. You're on the line with Dr. Carolyn Dean. If you could give us your name and your phone number, not your phone number, your name and your question for Carolyn tonight.
Hey, how you doing? I'm Brad Freeman. I've been taking a Remag for maybe, hey, how you doing? For like, I think 6 months now. And I still get the episodes of like the PVCs where it feel like my heart, kind of stopping a little bit or skipping a beat.
Yeah.
And I was wondering, what maybe some steps I need to do or the process of
How much are you taking of the Remag? And did I get your name right? Is it Brian?
Brad, B-R-A-D, Brad Freeman.
Oh, Brad. Okay, Brad, how much of the Remag are you taking?
2 capfuls.
2 capfuls. And how old are you?
29.
And are you an athlete? Do you are you magnesium deficient from sweating out your magnesium?
No, I think I got dehydrated in 2018, and I think that's how it started.
Okay.
I'm thinking how it started.
Right. So the thing is, it's got to be half your body weight in pounds. Drink that many ounces. Put in the quarter teaspoon of sea salt in each liter or quart. You personally, I'm like 107 pounds. I had to take 4 teaspoons, and a capful is supposed to be a teaspoon. I had to take 4 teaspoons for a year and a half to get rid of my arrhythmia, and I pretty much had PVCs that, it would jump and then stop and all that. I didn't have AFib. So it may be that you have to drink more sea salt water and take more Remag, and maybe you need the other minerals too, Brad, that we have in the Remite. You can get my book. I used to have it labeled just for atrial fibrillation, but it's called Heart Health. It's a free download at the drcarolyndeanlive.com. Download Heart Health and then, read through about what's going on, how the heart needs electrolytes. You don't have a heart problem necessarily. You have a magnesium deficiency perhaps. Because now, did you say, Brad, you're getting somewhat better, but not perfect?
Yeah, I got a whole lot better because when it first started, I didn't know what was going on, and I was stressed out, or half eaten. I thought I was going to leave her. I didn't know what was going on.
Oh, God. Oh, I know. Yeah, and when it's around your heart, you just think, well, I got a heart disease, but it may be that it started off good, you got better, but then your body just wants some more magnesium. And the thing is, it's not going to keep needing more and more and more, because if you were listening a little bit earlier, I only need a teaspoon to a teaspoon and a half a day now. And my heart's fine. Everything's fine. All my symptoms are gone. So you have to get enough of it in your body to kind of saturate, and then over time you'll need less. So read the Heart Health book just to give you some more words about it, and just know that you're on the right track. And, you might need to add the other minerals. Make sure you're drinking enough water. Okay?
Okay, yes, ma'am.
Right.
I do got
Anything
one more quick question, though, if you have time. Does a plant-based diet have any effect? Does that matter? Like switching to a plant-based diet?
I don't like plant-based diets. I personally need a lot of protein. I don't do well on just a vegetarian diet. They're promoting it a lot now because they say, with the plants you can get your vitamins and your minerals. But see, that's not true anymore, because the soil is depleted, especially of the minerals, because the farmers don't put back a lot of good stuff like the magnesium or the minerals in Remite. So personally, I don't think it's a good idea. What you can do is Google my name and diet, and kind of learn about what I think about it. Or at that site I told you, drcarolyndeanlive.com, I've got books on weight loss. It doesn't sound like you have to lose weight, but it will tell you the type of diet that I like. And the other thing is actually about, age 29, young man, if you're eating a lot of sugar, drinking alcohol, drinking coffee, smoking, not saying that you are, all those things trigger PVCs. And you probably know that, but I reinforced that information in that Heart Health book. Okay?
Okay, I got you. Yes, ma'am. Yes.
And your phone back or, email our customer service support at rnareset.com anytime you have a question. Okay, Brad?
Okay, that'll work. Yes, ma'am. I appreciate your time.
I appreciate you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yes, ma'am. All right, you take care.
It's really...
Okay, excellent.
Jenny, you there?
Go ahead. Yes, I'm here.
We're at the top of the hour, but yeah, it's really cool to have young people call in. It's we want to get these young people before they spend 10 years getting sicker and sicker, and then finally find us. It's just awesome getting young people on the call. I appreciate that.
Yes, absolutely. Agree 100%. We'll give him a big cheer, and then we'll be back from the top of the hour.
Yay!
We'll be back with Hour 2 of Live with Dr. Carolyn Dean, along with host Ginny Gunther, after this brief station break. You can also get updates and resources online by visiting drcarolyndean.com.
Psychic radio, holistic radio, spiritual radio. This is achieveradio.com. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/achieveradio.
What city plays?
The old categories. They don't apply anymore. And we're just superhuman, discarnate things right now.
What city plays?
We're well beyond the categories for men and women right now. And we're just superhuman, discarnate things right now.
Give me body.
Bring back the body.
Give me body.
Bring back the body.
Give me body.
I do advocate immediate fast to bring back the body.
Give me body.
Bring back the body.
Give me body.
AchieveRadio.com.
Here we go now. Go to the Carolyn. Here we go now. Here we go now. The wellness scene with Dr. D. Here we go now. Here we go now. Go to the Carolyn. The wellness with Dr. D.
Welcome back, everybody, live with Dr. Carolyn Dean here on AchieveRadio.com. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Hour 2, first show 2020. Getting ready to rock it on this planet for good health, good vitality, and the best well-being with our complement formulas in various stages and forms of development, and also our most glorious remag and our very own Dr. Dean. So we're so happy to have you back. Thanks for calling in this evening. This is a talk radio show. When we talk and then you talk, and we talk and you talk, and it's really fun. So we can't talk as much if you guys don't talk to us. So it's really important that people call in and mix it up and have a good time. So we're glad you're calling this evening. 602-666-6027 is the number to call. And we do have hands raised here who want to talk to Dr. Dean. And again, if you have called and you'd like to talk with her, you've got to hit *5 on your keypad, and we'll put you on the line pretty soon. Just a few follow-up comments, Carolyn, from the first hour when we talked about magnesium L-threonate, and you asked if any of our listeners had an experience with that. I wanted to let you know that Nancy typed in, and this is just Nancy, not Nancy L or Nancy M. This is just regular Nancy. And she said, I changed from magnesium taurate to L-threonate. I can hardly swallow 3 of those capsules, and I don't feel as good as I did with the taurate. So that was her comment about that. And also Marie typed in and said, what are your feelings on the Soleil water saturated with Himalayan salt instead of using pink salt in our water and simping all day? And the Soleil, of course, is the Redmond's sea salt that comes from Utah. And I think we've discussed before that the only difference between the pink Himalayan sea salt and the Redmond Soleil is that one comes from Pakistan and the other comes from the United States. One's pink and one's white. But the basic, if you look on both of their websites, the basic test, and you can get a COA or Certificate of Analysis for the Redmond, is it will delineate the 72 trace minerals that are in it, as well as the 72 trace minerals. Well, pink Himalayan salt can be between 72 and 108. So I don't think there's any difference, right, Carolyn? We talked about that before.
Right, but some of the Soleil comes in these big crystals, and you really don't know how much you're getting. I'm just on the Soleil water site right now, and it says most proponents recommend drinking 1 teaspoon of this mixture in an 8-ounce glass of room temperature water every day to reap a multitude of health benefits. Well, that again, if you're just drinking that 1 glass and that's it, then are you dumping too much in your body at one time? That's why I'm saying 1/4 teaspoon in a liter, and if you're drinking 3 or 4 liters a day, you're getting close to a teaspoon, but it's slowly getting into your body. So, it's just read the fine print really carefully and use your common sense. That's another thing in 2020. I want people to really think through all these things. We're here to answer questions, but it's really great if you can answer your own questions and then give us what you've learned. Okay, so anything more? I do want to have a customer service appreciation that I want to shout out.
Excellent. Excellent. Go ahead.
When I was over in North Carolina for the staff Christmas party in December, I got a card from Julie and Megan, and it says, "You and Santa Claus have something in common." Now, what would that be? So I opened the card, and it says, "He, too, has the best little workers around." Isn't that adorable?
That's very cute. Yes, it is.
So they know, they have the confidence to know how good they are and how much we love them. So thank you so much, all the staff, and thank you, Julie and Megan, for that card. Really appreciate it.
Yeah. Very cute. Very cute.
So phones, I do have mail bags, but let's do some more phone calls. They're fun.
Okay. Excellent. Wonderful. All right. Next call in order of hand raising is area code 248-248, the great state of Michigan. You're on the line with Dr. Carolyn Dean. If you could give us your name and then state your question or comment.
Hi. Yes, my name is Denise, and I was calling because I just received my whole packet from Amazon for the Restructure Everything. My thing is, I called last year, and I really hadn't done what I was supposed to do, so now I'm on the board. I'm just starting. If you have thyroid surgery and you have no thyroid, will the Remite, I have Remite with me, will it be okay to take?
Yes, of course, Denise, because the minerals in Remite are minerals that every part of the body requires. I do focus on thyroid because hypothyroidism is like an epidemic, and when I put together the Remite formula, I realized that 9 of the 12 minerals in Remite were specific for the thyroid. So it's for the whole body as well as the thyroid, and there's absolutely no problem with taking it. It'll help everything else in your body. And if you do have a little bit of thyroid tissue remaining, it'll support that as well.
Oh, good. Okay, because I was just like, oh, my gosh, is this going to help me? I have no thyroid. That's why I just wanted to find out. Okay,
right,
that's all I needed.
Of course.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Okay,
bye-bye.
That's a very common question,
Jenny.
Carolyn, isn't it? Yes, I'm here. That's a very common question, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, because I get so excited about the Remite helping people with thyroid deficiency that we do promote it for the thyroid. But if you read the Remite book, which is a free download at drcarolyndeanlive.com, you can read about all the minerals in Remite and you know, how much awesomeness they're doing for the whole body.
Yes, absolutely. There's a lot to Remite, and every single cell in the body does benefit and prosper. Absolutely, 100% agree. Okay, very good. Thank you for that phone call. Next, let's go to Louisiana, area code 337. You're on the phone tonight with Dr. Carolyn Dean. If you could give us your name and then state your question or comment.
Hi, my name is Bill, and a couple of quick questions. I'm a new customer about 10 days with the Remax, so looking forward to the benefits there. First question is on the recommendation to include the Himalayan sea salt. Just assume 3 quarts of water a day. That would be maybe an additional 1,200 milligrams of sodium. If we want to also try to keep a low sodium diet, my question is, if I understand it right, even the best pink Himalayan sea salt is still 98% sodium chloride, maybe 2% trace minerals. So the analysis was that, well, you'd have to really consume a lot of the Himalayan salt, get that 2% to measure up or to have benefits.
Right.
So I was just curious how you recommend or how you balance the increased sodium versus the trade-off of maybe not getting that much trace because of the percentage of it.
Right. I guess, Bill, it's, you know, there's some experimentation that a person would do with that because, you know, if since you're doing the products and you're getting your Remag going and getting your magnesium in you, well, magnesium helps balance the sodium in the body. I mean, we need sodium. It's an important electrolyte, but yeah, do we need all that much? But if the kidneys find there's too much sodium, they dump it. You dump it in your urine. If the body's working perfectly, if there's too much of something, the body will balance it out. So what I'm saying is when the body's functioning with the proper amounts of magnesium, which I think is the most important mineral, it'll deal with some extra sodium, and you'll get the benefits of the other minerals in the sea salt, Celtic salt, or Himalayan salt. But you'll just go easy. You'll just take a pinch of it. You won't take the quart teaspoon right away, and you'll see how you feel. I know I can't drink just plain water anymore. It just tastes so empty. So I know my body kind of craves it a bit. So you've got the information in your head that, well, salt is bad, and yes, it's got sodium, and now what am I going to do? So do you have blood pressure problems where you're worried about the sodium?
No, it's I'm an athlete kind of, so it's like 110/69. I just try to, keep it somewhere between 1,500 and 2,300 milligrams if you can. Sodium. So yeah.
So your research is telling you that that's a good place to be, and I mean, you'll just have to experiment, Bill. You'll have to see how you feel. You know, with that little bit of extra salt, give your cells what they require. See, what happens is when you have a good balance of electrolytes, which I say are the sea salt, the Remag, the Remite, then those minerals, they go into the cells, and because that's where they belong. And in the cells, the whole osmosis factor is that water will follow those minerals into the cells. And when you have a nice juicy cell with enough minerals and enough water, Then you get your Krebs cycle going real well, and then the Krebs cycle makes your ATP energy. And 6 of the 8 steps of the Krebs cycle require magnesium. So that Krebs cycle is the 1,000 to 2,000 mitochondria in each and every cell of the body are creating this energy and needing all this magnesium and other minerals and B vitamins and vitamin C as well. So we've got this incredible dynamic of the body requiring and using up all these minerals, pulling the water into the cells and utilizing it. A lot of people think, well, if I take too much salt or eat salt, then I'll get swollen ankles. Well, that's just the sodium chloride part. We have a lot of people getting back to us saying, oh my gosh, my ankles are no longer swollen once I'm taking all my minerals and the sea salt. So that, there's the dynamic of the physiology of the cells that you have to look at with what you're doing here. Make sense?
Okay. Yeah, no, that's great input. I appreciate that very much. Can I ask one more short question?
Sure, Bill.
Prior to your product, just to kind of avoid the laxative effect, I was using a pretty well-regarded product, a spray magnesium by EASE, E-A-S-E. It's a magnesium chloride hexahydrate, I guess 22 milligrams per spray. I was just wondering what you thought of that, and then what part of the body it might be best to apply to get maximum absorption.
Right, yeah. Over time when people realized that magnesium was so laxative, there was a huge shift to use transdermal magnesium like EASE. I remember they got in touch with me and, wanted me to work with them, whatever. On the skin, you can use Epsom salts. You can use just about any magnesium, and it'll be beneficial. So,
okay.
But the thing is, I guess what we did, Bill, we went to our taking our own Remag that's fully absorbed, and we made it into Remag lotion, and we find that people will tell us that this lotion is easier for them than other sprays and whatnot, because I haven't used these in a while. I forget if it irritates the skin, because I know before I got into making the Remag, I had to take a lot of magnesium, and I got the laxative effect. So I had to use a lot of external, and I started getting skin rashes and irritation from it because it dried on my skin like it was like sea salt, for Pete's sakes. So I'm saying it's okay as long as it doesn't irritate your skin. You can move over to Remag lotion when you finish up your magnesium chloride hexahydrate. A lot of words, but just on a roll here.
Yeah, no, that sounds fine. I just wanted to make sure that it was like a valid product, that it wasn't a hoax. I have complete confidence that the Remag, it goes in and it's absorbed, but you never know if something you spray on you is working or not. So that was the main thing. But I appreciate very much your information. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks for calling. I appreciate, as I said earlier with Brad, the young people calling in, because I take it you're a young person. In other words, under age 50.
56.
Okay. Well, you sound younger than that. But thank you, Bill, and keep in touch, okay?
I will probably call back. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Okay, bye-bye.
Okay, excellent. Boy, we're on a roll with the great questioners tonight. That's just really exciting. Thank you, Bill, for calling in. Very good questions. And let's also just take a real quick question here from this question from Anonymous. It says, hi, I'm a little embarrassed to ask this, but can a dry, slightly itching red patch on the lower half of each breast be yeast overgrowth. I'm on all the products, but I haven't been very consistent with them over the holidays. I've been spraying the patches with Pico Silver and then applying coconut oil. It's keeping it under control, but they're not going away. I've had them for 2 weeks now.
There's a lot of questions I would ask there. I mean, if Anonymous has recently begun the products, you could be going through a detox, and if you have yeast overgrowth, then you can get rashes. Spraying Pico Silver is a very good idea, but you'd add to that our yeast protocol. And if it happened over the holidays, that might be, sugar and alcohol added to your yeast overgrowth. So yeast detox and keep spraying, and yes, the coconut oil is antifungal. So you've chosen the right things to use.
Excellent. Perfect answer. Thank you. Okay, on to the great state of Texas. Area code 832. You're on the line with Dr. Carolyn Dean this evening. If you could give us your name and then state your question or comment.
Hi, Dr. Dean.
Hey.
Hello. Hi, this is Derek.
Yes.
How are you?
I'm sorry, I missed your name. Go ahead.
Derek.
What's your name again?
Derek.
B-E-R-T?
D-E-R-E-K, Derek.
Oh, E-A-R. There's so many ways to spell Eric. Okay, Eric, enough fooling around. What do you got for me?
Derek with a D, Derek.
Okay, Derek. Okay, I'll stop fooling around. Got it, Derek. Go ahead.
Okay. First, I wanted to tell you that I'm a liver transplant patient, and I've been using your Remag product for the last 2 years, and it's an amazing product for transplant patients. The medication that I've been using, tacrolimus, for the anti-rejection medicine, it actually depletes your magnesium pretty substantially, and transplant patients have a problem with the shakes, and my doctors are actually amazed that I don't have the shakes, because I do stay very well, keep my magnesium up. And I sometimes I take four teaspoons a day with the magnesium. My question for you, actually, and I tell all my transplant doctors and all of my doctors, I say you got to put they all have problems keeping the patient's magnesium levels up. That's one of the things they test during the blood tests, and so. I tell them that your product is they'll have them on so much magnesium oxide, all the transplant patients, to try to get their magnesium levels to maintain the magnesium levels, and they're not able to. But your product works amazing.
Yeah.
And if I don't take it for a few days, I definitely can tell the difference. But what's amazing is that if I take the magnesium, the Remag, if I take it, like if I'm starting to get the shakes, if I miss a few days, if I take it within 2 hours, it starts to work. So thank you very much. And I've been meaning to call you for a couple years now and tell you that you should target these transplant patients, because it's amazing.
Well, you know how I know you have more questions, but let me just interject. If you could give us the names of some of these doctors you've been interacting with, and we can send them a doctor kit with samples of the Remag and free doctor kit, so that they can they can learn about it and use it on people, because we have the same interaction with kidney dialysis patients and doctors, that there's something about the dialysis that drains out the magnesium, and all dialysis people have heart palpitations and anxiety and itching, and all these symptoms are benefited by the REMAG. So, yeah, if you wouldn't mind doing that, Derek, at support@rnareset.com, giving us names of doctors, you could tell them that you're going to have somebody send samples of what you're using, because if they're listening to you at all, then, they may appreciate this. And like you probably realized with the magnesium oxide, it can cause really bad diarrhea. At the same time, it's trying to give you some magnesium.
That's right. Yep. And so, I'll definitely send you my doctor's names, and maybe you can send them. The big complaint was from my liver transplant doctor was a lot of his patients are they have a hard time budget wise, so they
right.
But I don't think it's that expensive, the REMAG product.
No.
But and then my other question, the reason why I ended up with a liver transplant in the first place was because I had ulcerative colitis and primary sclerosing and cholangitis, if you're familiar with those.
Right.
And
yes.
My question is, I've been taking the Pico Silver, and I'm hoping that I'm just wondering how much Pico Silver you really have to take for it to benefit, like the ulcerative colitis, because I know it can help with ulcerative colitis. Is that correct?
Right. Yes. It actually works on the infective level, and it helps stem cell production and wound healing. So that's what makes it good for ulcerative colitis. But the other thing about ulcerative colitis is the yeast overgrowth that I talk about. Have you looked at my yeast book?
I have not.
Right, because probably the medications you're on are going to be encouraging yeast growth. So it would be good for you to understand a bit more about the intestinal microbiome, they call it.
Sure.
For the yeast treatment, we talk about using probiotics and prebiotics. We're having our product come out in another month or so, so you'll get ready to do that. When I wrote IBS for Dummies years ago, I think it's 2005, I saw a continuum of people getting yeast overgrowth and then developing irritable bowel and then it moving into Crohn's and ulcerative colitis. It was just unmistakable. So you can look at, download my yeast book at drcarolyndeanlive.com under books, and that'll give you a lot of important information.
Okay.
And you said how much Pico Silver. With you're going to be taking it for a long time. I'd say 2 teaspoons a day, one in the morning, one in the evening. You can pet it in with your other your REMAG and Remite. But I'd go for that amount. Okay.
And then one last question with regard to cancer patients. My wife, unfortunately, was diagnosed with cancer, appendix cancer of all things. So,
oh my God.
And yes, so I had a liver transplant, and then my wife gets diagnosed with appendix cancer. And but I'm encouraging her to take the minerals. Obviously, it's not a cure, but do you find, or do you know anything about, like, is it good for cancer patients to take all these minerals? I know that medications that they take are pretty harsh, but.
Right. Well, a lot of our customers who've been through cancer treatments, they really do say that the Remag and the Remite and the Realign really help them with any side effects of the drugs, the chemotherapy. Now, what's interesting about the appendix, I would, if you can give your wife some of our information about total biology. Have you listened enough? Of course, you've been around for a couple of years, but have you heard me talking about total biology? Because when you say appendix, okay, go ahead.
No, I haven't. I listened to your podcast, which I like a lot, and actually they need to be updated because they're a little behind. But I don't know. But I mean. Right. They're like, they're from October, and that's how I normally listen to you. But anyway,
yeah, I think we're switching to another service, so yeah, we'll get on to that. Okay, well, total biology is the conflict basis of disease, and it's that cancer is like it's the body trying to fix a problem that the mind think is very difficult to solve. Trying to solve an unsolvable problem, then the body will kick up cell growth that will be diagnosed as cancer, but it's the body trying to solve a problem. It sounds a bit bizarre, but we can send you information, our FAQ on total biology, but the appendix is related to money. Someone with no money, one day. I have words that I'm looking at in my total biology notes, and it's not going to make sense to you except to say the appendix is related to money, either some money being taken away or seeking money. It's like the appendix is a little tiny pocketbook in the body where you hide your money. And then if the money if there's someone trying to get at that money, then the cells will build up to try to save the money. It probably doesn't make any sense at all, but it's like a reserve of money in a little pouch that is the appendix. And what we do, we don't talk too much about treating cancer. Like I said, our products will support someone when they have cancer, but we do refer people to a total biology consultant who will discuss the meaning of the conflict that gives a person a cancer in whatever area of the body. And like we both know, it's very rare, so there's got to be something to do with the conflict in your wife getting cancer there.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can email support@rnareset.com, and we'll send you our FAQ on total biology. Okay, Derek?
Okay. Sounds good.
And one question for you. What was the name of the immune-suppressing drug that depletes magnesium? I guess I didn't hear it right. I can't find it.
Sure. Tacrolimus. It's spelled Tacrolimus. Tacrolimus.
Yeah, I got it. Okay, perfect.
Prograf.
Okay, Derek, anything?
Nope.
I'm just looking at it right now. Yeah, I see it. Immunosuppressive drug. Yeah, got it. Okay, Derek, anything else?
No, that's it.
Okay, great call. Appreciate you calling in after 2 years.
Right. Thank you.
Okay, take care. You're welcome. Bye-bye. Bye.
Excellent. What a beautiful call. Yes, Derek, love your spirit. That's a true fighter and a survivor. And just a reminder, support, SUPPORT, at RNAreset.com for yourself and anybody else listening to this call or the archives that would like to communicate this information to their doctor or healthcare practitioner. All you have to do is shoot us an email. We'll tell you how to do it, and we will send the information out on your behalf to your doctors. And they have just been giddy with joy and thrilled to tears. And so many doctors impressed that their patients care enough to communicate. I mean, I think doctors can be in a very lonely world, don't you, Carolyn?
Oh, yes. Yeah. And especially dealing with, what they think are conditions that have these obvious side effects, and the drugs have the side effects, and they don't have a solution. And, isn't it going to be great when doctors have REMAG on their compendium in their hospital, and it can be covered by drug plans? I mean, that's what the studies are eventually going to amount to, is being able to have REMAG instead of a drug prescription.
Yep. Absolutely.
Okay, can I do a couple of mailbags? Yep.
Let's see. So let me. Can I ask a couple questions on behalf of the thing on the chat line here?
Sure.
Okay, let me do the chat line real quick, and then we'll do mailbag. Okay, here's a question from coming in from Mary. So Mary wrote, and she said, I just purchased Pico Silver, REMAG, and REMITE. Now what? Please help me how to figure out how to take this. And so I said, what are your health concerns about following the protocol that came with the products? And would she like to call into the show? And she said she's not available to call into the show, but she would like to know if non-alcoholic fatty liver, cellulite, and weight gain can be helped with REMAG, REMITE, and Pico Silver, or will any of the products help with fatty liver? And I'm assuming this is non-alcoholic fatty liver, Mary. Is that right? So you can let us know. Carolyn?
Well, the non-alcoholic fatty liver seems to be related to intake of, high fructose corn sweeteners and high fruits, and it's bizarre that people are finally realizing that. So it's a matter of a good diet. Personally, I tell clients, or when I had clients, to go on a yeast-free diet, avoiding sugar and gluten and dairy, the lactose, dairy, sugar, breads that break down into sugars very easily, to take the stress off the liver. And that's the diet. And then the supplements, certainly the REMAG, REMITE are going to help. The Pico Silver, Pico Silver boosts the immune system and helps the stem cell production to make new cells, which is going to help the liver. The liver is awesome. I've said this before. When I was in my clerkship in Canada, I would hang out in the emergency department and follow surgeries. And one night, this young man, a motor vehicle accident, 90% of his liver was ripped. So they had to remove 90% of his liver. And over the next month, while I was there on this particular rotation, he regrew his liver. Every week they do an ultrasound or an X-ray, and you could see his liver regrowing. So if you give your liver the right building blocks and do some detoxing, like with a yeast diet, then you will regrow your liver cells. I mean, it's just, what else is going to happen? That's what's going to happen, I should say. So there you go, Mary.
Very good. Excellent. Okay. Now, it is non-alcoholic fatty liver. Carolyn, I know at one point, too, I think you had recommended the keto diet for non-alcoholic fatty liver because the ketosis is helpful. Is that still part of what you recommend?
Well, the yeast diet and the keto diet are very, very much the same, but I want Mary to read the yeast book and learn about yeast overgrowth. With women, you're going to have more yeast,
Very good. Excellent. Okay. Linda wrote in and said, hello and Happy New Year. After listening to the show on Pico Silver last week, I started using a teaspoon of Pico Silver in my neti pot 2 times per week for the last week now. Is this a right amount, and how many times per week can I use it? How long might it take to see some good results? Would tingling cheek sinuses be a good sign? I have had blocked sinuses for years. I've been on the yeast protocol in the past, and I've been taking all the Reset products for 2 years.
It was Julie, one of our customer service staff, who was using Pico Silver right in the beginning and found her sinuses cleared. Personally, I would do the neti pot daily, but along with the 1/4 teaspoon of neti pot salt in a pint, and I would put a 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder to keep the irritation of the neti pot down. When I do a neti pot, I'll use the 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder. I think it's baking powder. I often get baking powder and baking soda mixed up. I'm pretty sure it's baking powder. I'm looking up baking powder in the neti pot. It's so nice to be able to search things. Yeah, to buffer they're saying baking soda. So I apologize. It's not baking powder, which is used in baking cakes. You're using baking soda to buffer the solution, to make things gentler on your nose, so you can use it every day. And as well, Linda, I'm sure you're looking at the yeast detox at the same time. I know when I started the Pico Silver for my first airplane cold, my sinuses were cleared up because I do have yeast overgrowth on and off. Okay, next, more chat?
Nope, we're caught up for now. Why don't you do a couple mailbags and we'll see how things roll.
Okay, this is it's a bit of a long kind of teaching question about medication and magnesium. So a customer says, I'm giving my mother 1/8 of a teaspoon of Remag for 10 days. I've now increased it to a 1/4 teaspoon. I've observed that her pulse is 55 to 65 during the day and occasionally goes to 45 to 55. Now, when this person emailed, at first they were sort of panicking, saying that the pulse was very low all the time, but they did marked down the numbers and found that it was only occasionally. So I said, okay, that's better than a constant low pulse. But let me be clear, it's not the Remag that is dropping the pulse, it's the medication. His mother is on several drugs. Remag is not a drug, it's a nutrient that makes the blood vessels more flexible and normalizes them. The drugs are forcing the pulse and blood pressure down, and it sounds like they are no longer necessary if the Remag is just giving the body what it has been missing. The question continues. We've reduced the beta blocker from 75 to 50. She's continuing the calcium channel blocker, and she takes a diuretic. So I answer that bit of information. Yes, it's good to reduce the beta blocker. Actually, if her blood pressure is 125 or over 65, which he said it was, that's perfect. I know some doctors may say the top number should be 120, but as we get older, we do need a few extra points to push blood through inflexible arteries. It doesn't make sense to keep taking a beta blocker and a calcium channel blocker and a diuretic for a condition that she doesn't seem to have anymore. Beta blockers lower your blood pressure by blocking the effect of hormones called adrenaline and noradrenaline. By blocking these hormones, beta blockers slow down your heart rate and reduce the force at which blood is pumped around your body. Note, stress and distress will pump adrenaline and use up your magnesium. Musicians use beta blockers to reduce their heart rate and blood pressure. A recent Medscape quiz on adrenal disorders only looked at Cushing's, which is too much cortisol, Addison's, which is too little cortisol, and pheochromocytoma, an adrenal tumor producing too much adrenaline. So that I said, I think the customer was asking about the adrenal glands, and they're not going to look at your adrenals until they're in a disease state. So that's why we support the adrenals with Remag, vitamin C actually, and the B vitamins. And the diuretic drug, that's draining fluid from the body, making a person dehydrated and making them lose more minerals. And that's the dehydration that lowers the blood pressure. Less fluid in the blood vessels lowers the blood pressure, but high blood pressure comes from tight arteries and calcified arteries, which is why we need magnesium to relax the smooth muscles of the blood vessels and dissolve the calcium that's in these arteries. Calcium channel blockers are blocking calcium, but magnesium, let me find that line again, but magnesium is a natural calcium channel blocker. Continuing from the customer, the doctor will not take her off the calcium channel blockers and beta blockers, at least not anytime soon. And I answered, that's because they don't know anything about magnesium and how it's needed to keep the arteries and the heart flexible and to lower calcification. They don't believe older people can get better and just keep giving them more drugs for symptoms that may be due to magnesium deficiency. Okay, he may wean her from the calcium channel blocker at a later stage. We monitor her blood pressure at least 2 times a day, and the average is 125 or 65. And I say if the drugs keep pushing her blood pressure down, she will begin to get dizzy and be at risk for falling. And then only if you find a doctor who understands that her pulse and blood pressure are normalizing, they may find she shouldn't be on medications for this normal blood pressure and pulse. So anyway, it just went back and forth, a little choppy there, but that's the situation we're in with our customers, is that the doctors don't believe that people can get better. So they just keep forcing the opinion that you're going to have to take these drugs for life, and we can't tell people not to. We just say, well, take the minerals. As the symptoms improve, then go to a doctor who'll see that a person is in a place where they don't need the medications. Larry sent in a theory. He says, my theory is that over time the prostate becomes calcified and enlarged because of the calcification due to not enough magnesium in the body, and thus all the ensuing problems that go along with the enlarged prostate. So that if men were to have enough magnesium, then they shouldn't have prostate problems. Does this theory have any value, or am I missing something? So to relieve the prostate problems, get magnesium, and eventually the prostate problems should go away. So I said, good point, Larry. I do talk about bladder and urethra calcification as a cause of incontinence and breast tissue calcification being mistaken as cancer and precancer, but I haven't taken that conversation logically to the prostate. I see that calcification is common in the prostate and just overlooked and rationalized with the following, quote, since there are so many different causes of prostate calcifications, it's not possible to recommend a preventive program. So they don't know, they know calcification is in the prostate, but there's no treatment for it. And I said, yes, that's a topic I'll bring up on the next radio show, which I'm doing right now. So yeah, this is important. But the other thing about prostate, and you'll see this in my, you can get a free download of my Future Health Now Encyclopedia, 600 pages. You can look at prostate, and prostate can be yeast overgrowth. Prostatitis is often a yeast infection of the prostate. But definitely this point that Larry made about calcification of the prostate is very important. So thank you, Larry. Ginny, I'll go back to you now. I do have a couple more things, but I'll make that a stopping point.
Okay. To just follow up, Linda types back in and said, just to clarify, it's a quarter teaspoon of baking soda and a teaspoon of Pico Silver daily with the neti pot. Correct. Is that correct, Carolyn?
And salt. You have
and the salt, yes. I'm sorry, I didn't see the word salt. Yes, salt. Yep. And the neti pot salt. Very good. Thank you. Yes. Okay, very good. Excellent. Okay. Lisa typed in and said, all cancer patients must learn how Dr. Jason Williams is using immunotherapy injection to treat the whole body with no adverse events. WilliamsCancerCenter.com. Carolyn, are you familiar with him or anything that he's done? He's a doctor award by Vince Lombardi Cancer Foundation in 2019.
Well, it sounds like the treatment, the immunotherapy treatment that was begun by a doctor who I forget his name now in Texas. But no, I'll have if you could. I'm not on chat, so if you could send me that name, I'll look into it. But yes, sure. We can immunotherapy cancer and all, but whatever a person does, it is. I think it's important to know the conflict that creates the abnormal cell growth as a means of the body trying to solve a problem. So it's something that in the West here we just will never hear about. So that's why we do talk about it. But anyway, I'll look into that. Thank you, Lisa.
Okay, very good. Excellent. And let's see, what else do we have? I think that's pretty much it. A couple comments about people using the Soleil and how they prefer to use that and that kind of thing. So thank you for the contribution on that, Robin and Marie. Again, do your research and as Dr. Dean has suggested, and find out the method that's best for you. I know I tried to do it and it was too harsh for me. I just went back to my pink salt. That was my own experiment. Okay, Carolyn, 7.5 minutes to the top of the hour. Let her rip, Tater Chip. What else do you want to do?
Okay, I've been reading a book about a lawyer, Daniel Sheehan. Bob started in on it, and let me give the name of it. The People's Advocate, The Life and Legal History of America's, I'm looking at the book details here. So The People's Advocate, he's a constitutional attorney. It's his memoir offering fascinating and horrifying accounts of over a dozen historic legal cases from Watergate to Iran-Contra. Now, what got me, he's a constitutional attorney, and so I started looking at the Constitution, and what I realized is there's no health amendment in the Constitution. In the preamble of the American Constitution, we have certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And I want an amendment to the Constitution to allow us the right of health and health options, because I really think that is what's missing from missing from the Constitution, but missing from the dialogue and discussion of people, where we don't think our health is our own by it being constitutionally implemented. We think our health belongs to the medical disease care system and the doctors, and the doctors tell us what they want us to know, and just like so many other things, the medical system has been so focused on drug therapies that they've lost the ability to look at health as anything but a drug treatment. Even this business about total biology. Why don't we have the psychology of total biology to help explain why we get sick? So it's I wanted a health amendment to the Constitution. So that's my statement for today. What else? Robin commented.
Well, hold on there. Hold on there. That's a pretty big statement, Carolyn Dean, Dr. Dean. That's a pretty big.
Oh, yeah. Jenny, would you like to comment?
Lord, girl, that's pretty intense. I mean, when you think about the constitutional rights that people have had to fight for and, encourage a lot of contrast for in order to achieve that. That is a pretty big statement, to have a constitutional right to health. And as you said, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. I mean, is the constitutional right to life, which is what was used to argue the thingy, our constitutional right to health.
Right, that's true.
Hey guys, it's subtitled Daniel Sheehan's book, America's Most Fearless Lawyer, and it is such an incredible story. It should be mandatory in high school. Daniel Sheehan, he did everything. Stopped the Vietnam War. He revealed the Pentagon Papers. He stopped the nuclear industry. It goes on and on and on. Amazing. He started doing it while in law school before he was a lawyer.
Yeah, but the focus here, we want to focus on
the Constitution,
life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. So, yeah, Jenny, you're right. The life should be health, a healthy life.
Right, and the word is, since you just became an American the other day, thanks to me, it's not unalienable, it's inalienable.
Oh.
I-N.
My copy I pasted has UN alienable. Yeah, it sounded weird. So, yeah, Ginny, continue. Thank you, Bob. You can mute now.
I ain't muting.
Mute.
I'm watching this topic. so many rabbit holes and tiger cages. I got to monitor this, what you say.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's a strong statement. So it's like your statement about me, Ginny, winning the Nobel Prize for whatever, medicine or health. It's a strong statement, but I think we, as I said earlier about orthomolecular medicine, we have got the new medicine. Nobody else has the Remag, Remite, RNA reset drops. Nobody else has it. So we are...
Not new medicine, Carolyn. New supplements. We ain't doing medicine.
We are doing medicine, Bob.
Oh, okay. What about the FDA?
Well, wait. But wait, hold on. The complement formula, is what replaces. That's the upgrade to supplement. That's why every one of our bottles says this is a complement formula. It is designed to complete the body at a cellular level and complete those basic building blocks so that cellular function can meet its optimum goal. And every cell seeks its own completion, just like every aspect of biological life seeks the same. So the complement formula is our gauntlet to separate and move apart from the supplement industry and move into a new way of thinking. Of course, this is a very elite smoking parlor. Everybody's just joined this think tank conversation that we're having with 49 seconds left, and we can continue next week. But that's where we started with all that, Bob.
Yeah, Mr. FDA, they know not what they speak. It ain't medicine. We're not doing medicine, Mr. FDA. Okay.
Well, the thing about the medicine and what we're doing is we never tell people to stop their medicine. We can work very well with whatever a person is on. Look at our transplant and dialysis patients. They need our complement formulas to complete the medicine that they're doing, and that's where we're positioned. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Jenny.
Yes,
Bob.
absolutely.
Thank you, listeners.
Yes, thank you.
Absolutely.
All of our thoughts chiming in. We'll pick it up next week, everybody. We promise. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in.
When I was around 10 years old, my father bought a television. And I said, Dad, don't bring that into the house. It's going to change the whole family structure. It's going to change the neighborhood. Already a bunch of people in the neighborhood have TV, and I can see the effects on my peers.
We'll continue after this.
I warned him it's going to create a separation and create a Berlin Wall in the family. It's going to make my sister become a different kind of person. It's going to make me become a different kind of person. I'll lose my interest in hockey. I'll get into drugs. I predicted all this when I was 10.